What's going on, guys? I'm back with another one. And I just watched a movie called VHS 99, starring Stephen Ogg, Joseph Winter, and Melanie Stone. First of all, I'm just surprised that I'm just now doing this, but I gotta pay homage and honor to the one they call Bandcamp. Whatever happened to Allison Hannigan? Okay? She's been around for a long time, longer than we think. All right, but she's always going to be known as Bandcamp from American Pie. It's just going to keep following her and following her, but it's actually a good thing, I thought. In 1988, My Stepmother is an Alien came out. All right. Now, this had Kim Basinger, I think, and then it had Dan Aykroyd. Of course, Kim was the alien. All the while, with all this star power going around, we're forgetting that Allison Hannigan was the girl in the movie. Matter of fact, we didn't even know who that was. We had no idea who this was. Okay? So that's just beyond me now to think that this became Bandcamp. All right. Then in 1997, Buffy the Vampire Slayer came out. Of course, it's a lot of years later, and she's now on this hit show. Or, well, at the time, we didn't know it was going to become a hit. Had no idea. Sarah Michelle Gellar. And yes, Allison Hannigan is playing her friend and a witch also in the show. It ran its good course. It ran a good course. Also had other shows just bounce off from it too. So, kudos to that. All right. It's kind of started a culture there. All right. Then in 1998, Dead Man on Campus came out. All right. Now, honestly, I quickly forgot that she was even in the movie. All right. There's your boy Zach from Saved by the Bell, and there's that other guy who was and there's other characters in this movie that I remember stronger than her being in this movie. But she was in there, so I have to give her credit where credit is due. Okay? Honestly. And then in 1999, American Pie came out. This started a whole franchise of American this and American that, American Wedding, American Reunion, all this. And she was in, the ones that counted, every single one of those. All right. And she never changed. She just got older. I guess she matured a little. Not that much. She was always the same person. She was always the same person. She kept it honest and real what she wanted, and she was upfront about everything that she said that spoke her mind. I respect her character for that. She was always ready to explore, Let's just put it like that. But kudos again, man. Much props for that. Nothing wrong with being a static character if you stay the way you are. You stay on that same path, and it's a good path for you. All right? Because then in 2000, Boys and Girls came out. Once again, I think it's even worse a case of me forgetting she was even in that movie. She has a habit of that sometimes. I don't know. And it's hard to miss her. If you know what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying? It's hard to not recognize her in a movie. So how did I ever forget that she was in that movie? Must be a long time. But there was also some, other key players in that movie that kept it strong. And if you haven't seen it, watch that movie. It's decent. It's decent. Okay. And in 2005, she got whiff of another hit show, How I Met Your Mother. All right, now, granted, this show was the best because of Barney. in my opinion. And her character, and also in my opinion, was the worst character on that show. But if that was their goal, she did a great job of that. She was so annoying and judgmental, and she ran her dude like a just a puppet, like a doll. I hated that. I hated her character did that, you know. But I guess if that's what they were going for once again, then she did a fantastic job of being that kind of person. And that's the first time you were ever playing a character that I was actually annoyed by. So props to her for being so convincing. And in 2006, Date movie came out. This was around an era where all these satires were coming out, and Not Another Teen Movie. Well, yeah, Not Another Teen Movie, and all these other movies that were just making fun of actual movies. And Date movie was definitely one of those, which had some funny moments. And she played her part very well, okay? She fit right in to this category. She fit right in there. All right, with her kind of personality, it wasn't that hard for her to do that. All right, and that made it something to watch. She made it watchable. Not a fantastic movie altogether, but she made it watchable. Thank you for that. And now my question is, where else will she pop up soon? She has a family, I know. She has 2 daughters and a husband. The husband's also an actor. So, I mean, why don't y'all do a movie together? Or something. Keep doing it. Keep on keeping on. We want to see what you got to do next. It doesn't stop here. You're only 48. Come on. You got to keep going. But now let's get to the movie. VHS 99. For those who don't know, for those who are not aware, I'm not going to hold this against you if you don't know. All right. Some probably got lost in translation between VHS 3 and VHS 94. All right, just be honest. It's losing its taste. It's losing its taste. Or it was kind of losing its grip on just its original fans, honestly. And so then this one came out last year, which is why I'm just now catching up. And here we are. So I can't penalize you for that. All right? I'm being fair. I can't penalize you for that. You get a freebie this time. I'll let you slide. VHS 99. It's pretty much another great anthology from this movie franchise. 5 stories based around 1999. Duh. All right. And all the culture and the nostalgia of 99 and what was going on before the big 2000 hit and the Y2K and all this is going on. There's just 5 stories bent on this horror stories, right? Chilling tales of 1999. All right, and that's pretty much what you're gonna get from mythological creatures. Let's put it like that. To revenge tales, which I'll get into in a little bit. To just sororities, all that. It's entertaining. That's the premise, and that's the premise. All right. Positives. The makeup and costume crew did a knockout job. I have to say that right now, man. If nothing else got me about this movie, it was the makeup, especially on the first two stories. The first 2 stories, just man, it was beautiful, almost beautiful. The dead, how they made the dead look so real. Like, this is how you would think they would look in real life if people came out the grave. This is how they would look. This is exactly how they would look. Okay, no mistake made about this. So creepy. So the detail, from detail to detail. from the skin tone, from the rotting flesh to they did a great job. That's the only thing that I could take away from those first two stories. Then that will be it. Okay, I loved it. And now somewhere along the line, down the line, it started to drop the ball a little bit. But those first two stories really stood out for me as far as the looks and the aesthetics and the visuals. All right. Another positive. This movie had some unexpected humor. Not gonna lie, all right? Not something I expected from this franchise. I mean, it can get a little cheesy at times, but I think this time it was going for the purpose. All right, it was doing this on purpose. Obviously. Okay. And some stories benefited from it, some didn't. I'll talk about that a little later on, but for this part of the session, the humor worked in certain aspects. All right, you have the teenagers and they're making fun of some guy out at the truck trying to flirt. It was so corny. It was so corny that I kind of did laugh at that. That was so stupid. And there's other quick jokes in here that you have to catch. Just odd things that are happening that, I mean, I found funny. I found that hilarious. Okay, they would just actually go there. But we'll get into the negatives on that side of it in a little bit. My third positive, nostalgia. Of course, this had tons of nostalgia in it. This brought me back to my graduating year was coming up. 2000 was coming up. I was in high school. All right. Eminem had just dropped his first big album. All right. I was listening to that on the headphones in one of my classes. Probably shouldn't have been doing that, but I was doing that. Okay. So it brought back so many memories so fast when you mentioned 1999. Okay. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. And they also have meant a brief mention of Y2K, which was pretty cool. That was pretty cool to put that in there. There are times when it does get a little tacky with the the nostalgia, but it was okay. It was okay. That was okay. It wasn't so bad that it cost the movie. All right, I still could fathom that. I could fathom even the tacky nostalgia. I took it all in. All right. There's especially one quote in one of the stories that just is like, that, what do they call it? Was it cringe? Yeah, that was cringe. Two on the nose. But I loved it all. I loved it all. Last positive. I'd say the best story out of this entire movie was the kid game show session. All right. The kids game show where they go on the show. It's kind of like the ones on Nickelodeon, right? It reminded me of that. Like very strong resemblance of that show. And, they were all, the little girl was on there from Detroit, and she had to win that prize. She had to get her wish. Right. And her parents were rooting for her maybe a little too hard. They were one of those parents. Okay. And the host was just such an unbearable person. He didn't give a damn about anything. There were people getting hurt and injured on the show. He didn't care about that, and that should have been a warning right there for something. But, they continued on with the show. It went through with the game. Right. And unfortunately, she injured her leg going down one of the slides horribly, badly. And it didn't go too well. Because years later, something crazy happened to that game show. I don't want to spoil anything. But it was just so different from a lot of the other stories in this lineup that it got my attention real quick. That got my attention. Okay. Negatives. My first negative would have to be the revenge from the grave plot was overused. How many times Are we gonna have somebody die a horrible death, or they're wronged, or they were teamed up on by somebody, and then some freak accident happened, and those bullies were like, "Oh my God, well, let's," and then next thing you know, the bullies are getting it. All right, and that's kind of a reflection of the first two stories. I'm not going to get into too many details, but it's been done so many times. That's been done so many, and they did it back to back on this one, and it really wasn't any creativity to it, in my opinion. The stories weren't bad; they weren't horrible stories, but at the same time, I've seen it. We've seen it before. I can pull up another VHS movie and probably give you a similar story to that. All right, something that was just like that I just saw. All right, or almost any horror movie, the revenge from the grave plot is overdone. Gotta stop that. Gotta stop that. Another negative. The humor took away from the horror. That's the bad side of this, the humor being added so deep into the core of this movie. The humor just kind of directed you away from the fact that it's not that scary. It's not that scary. It's not that scary. It's not even like the last one. The last one, I'm not saying the last one was the best one, the best of any of them. It wasn't. It was far from. But it still had a little bit of a chill to it. A little bit of a, This one, no. Not at the slightest. I can't say I was scared of any of these stories. Not scared, but just no goosebumps, nothing. All right, I don't have any hair on my head, so maybe my hair on my chin. None of that rose up. All right, hair on my arms, whatever. None of that was done for me. Okay, when you have me laughing at most of this for an entirety of the time, that's not how that works. Unless you're just really going purposely for a cheese horror. All right, or what is they call it, campy? If I'm using that word right, it was pretty much that to the max, to the 13th power, if I might add. All right, so it really didn't hit in that way. If you're looking to get your laugh on, this is the one. If you want something to creep you out, it won't be this one. Maybe a little bit of a chill. Just kind of storylines that could have been done a little better in that case. All right, let's put it like that. Another negative. There are so many stupid decisions made in this movie. It's just like dumb decision after dumb decision after dumb decision. They couldn't get a smarter way to the plot. And I know it requires a lot of dumb people for horror movies. But dang it was just like it's like all the characters were just fresh out of a lobotomy. All right, they all had their brains picked and prodded, and then they put the brains back in their head and they say, okay, let's do the movie. All right, y'all want to do a movie? Go do a movie. Because they were all stupid. Tell me one thing, and I have to say this without saying too much. If you are being led into a cave or a tomb, all right, and you see a kid run out looking scared, and you go deeper into the tomb, and you see this creature on the table. All right. You should already be running. You should already be running. All right. Your feet, your shoes should be still sitting there with smoke coming out of them because your body has left them. That I don't understand that part. I don't understand. There's a storyline with a mythological creature in it. And I'm not going to say what it is, but people know that when you do a certain thing with this creature, you're done. You're done. It's a wrap. Once you do this certain thing to this creature, and everybody knows this, you're out of there. You're gone. You're gone. And when you figure out that it's that creature, you should probably run. That's the word of the day right now. Run. It seems like these people did not know how to do that. They wanted to talk to people and talk to creatures and reason with them. What? Last negative. Sorry. The last story was the worst story out of this whole lineup. Not because it was just badly written, it's just because it had not one drop of horror to it at all. It was just like an episode of some comedy on Adult Swim or something, or some show, some movie you want to watch it just with some cheesy effects and just to get your laugh on, a quick laugh. Shout out to the character Mabel though. She was a boss. She was a boss, man. I enjoy Mabel. All right, but for this, I have to give this an I. Yes, it only gets an I. I'm sorry if you get mad about that, but that's just the truth of it. They need to stop doing VHS movies and kind of just rethink their whole motives. Press that like button, share, and you better subscribe.